Hi everybody, this is Roberta here, and in today's video I'm gonna be editing a very nice image with you, and it's a fine art image, so hopefully you can see my process, learn something from it, and if you have any questions don't forget to ask on the comments below and I'll answer as soon as possible. So without any further ado, I'm just gonna get started and edit the image. And it's not going to be a full tutorial, I'm just going to tell you this way. You need to have some knowledge of Photoshop, but I'm sure you're going to be able to, maybe understand something of what I'm doing. I'm going to try to be as descriptive as possible. All right, so this is the beautiful image I'm going to edit now. And this one here, I was trying to edit. So let me just brief story. Yesterday I was trying to edit an image that was just very similar to this one. Unfortunately, I my video didn't work, so it was a total fail. So now I'm gonna try to edit this one and hopefully it will work. Okay, so to begin with, I'm going to create a layer, an empty layer. Just push this button right here and it creates an empty layer. And I'm gonna fix the image and I'm gonna zoom in close. I'm just gonna fix some of the things that, to make the image more flawless. So I make sure it's set to current and below right here, and I'm picking the healing brush. All right, so I'm just gonna be erasing and replacing the areas like that. So I'm sampling an area that I think matches the spot or the blemish, and I just do this around. She is, a child, so her skin is nearly perfect, if not perfect. So yeah, just looking for some unevenness. And then don't forget to zoom out and check other parts of her skin. So I see that there are some spots here on her nail. Let's see if I can fix this way. All right, now to fix these smaller areas here, like see some skin, I'm gonna use this healing spot brush. So I'm just gonna do this and it should do the job. Sometimes sometimes I would just wish we could do our nails like this, one click and gone, and it looks brilliant, perfect. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. Okay, checking for other things. Now, I'm now gonna remove some of her flyaways. I always make sure to get a brush that is slightly bigger than the piece of, the area I'm trying to work. And like this, the hair will disappear. Oh, she has a little blemish here. Let me see if this tool didn't work. So I'm gonna change for the other one, the healing brush, and I'm just gonna fix this little thing here. I normally don't fix scars, but because it's just a personal project, I'm just gonna, do it. Unless my clients ask to fix anything that is permanent. So for example, I don't want to have this, this scar here, can you remove it? Then yes, but normally anything that is permanent, I leave on the image. Okay. So she does have quite a bit of flyaway. That's going to be a little challenging, but it'll be fine. Now, I think the image is good, so I'm just going to click on the eye here so you can see the areas I've retouched. So there's some here at the bottom and mostly here on her face. The rest is fine. So what I will do now, I'm going to try and remove the flyaways. And to do that, I'll create an empty layer again. And this time I'm going to get the clone stamp tool, and I'm going to leave the opacity and the flow to 30%. And I'm going to be sampling near the area of the hair here. And I'm going to make the hardness about 60% to start. and I'll see if I have to change. Also, make sure it's set to current and below, so I'm going to be sampling anything that is on this layer and below is going to be copied. So I'm just going to do this and start to brush just to slightly get rid of it. Now I'm going to get the brush a little softer, so maybe hardness about 22, and I'm going to carry on doing exactly the same. But here I may not try to remove all of it. I'm just going to go over the ear. We will fix that in a second. I went over everything. Okay, so you see here I went over and that's not good, but I can always create a layer mask. I'll get a brush. Make sure the brush is set to the opposite color here. So if it's white, use a black brush. And I'm gonna get the hardness to 86%. I'll make sure my everything is set to 100%, and I'm just gonna brush away like this. Okay, so now I can get closer, and now I'm gonna use a white brush and hardness about 70, and I'm just gonna fix the edges like that. That's why I went over the ears. Let me zoom out. You can see here before and after. I think that's pretty good, but there's still a lot of work to do here. So I'm gonna try and now get the flow to 10% so I can bring some of those flyaways. Let's see. No, I'm gonna get rid of it completely. So I'm just undoing what I've done. All right, so now my job is to get rid of those flyaways on her outfit. So I'm creating a blank layer over, and now I'm gonna use my spot healing brush, and I'm just gonna go over the hair like that. Sorry, my camera switched. So hopefully now. So what I was doing here, I was just showing, how do I say? So I'm just removing the hair on this area here on her top because I decided to get rid of all the flyaways. So I'm doing that. Just need to be extra careful because sometimes this tool doesn't work properly. It does work properly, but you know, sometimes what we want to achieve something with it, and the tool is maybe not the best for it, you know. Okay, I think it's fixed pretty well there. So just looking, there's some hair here. Let me go back. And some more here. Okay, I think that is pretty good. So you see before, now, and after. It's pretty covered, that area. Now moving on to the other side, she has a lot more flyaways here, but this area I'm probably not gonna keep as clean as that one, just less, a little bit less cleaner. So I'm gonna get again my clone stamp tool, and still on this layer, I'm gonna be sampling areas to replace, for example, here next to her hair. Oops, be careful with the edge of the screen. So undoing. Okay, so here. I don't remove all the flyaways because, you know, flyaways are, everyone has them. This was bad, so I'm just erasing that. And here, keep going. Gonna go over her skin. Okay. I'm going now to put a mask on this layer, and now I'm gonna get my brush and set my flow. Let's start with 10, just so I can bring back some of the flyaways. And now I'm gonna set to 100 and hardness to 60%, and I'm just gonna go over here the areas where I want it to be 100% clear, like, you know, as it was before. I just wanted the background to be fixed. I think I'm gonna bring some of the flyaways on this image here because then it matches the other side. So I'm gonna set my flow to 10% and slightly bring the flyaways back here, just a little bit. Okay, I think this is better. So let me check. I think this is good. So now I'm going to do Command, Option, Shift, and E to create a fresh version, a fresh copy of anything that is below these layers here. So it's pretty much a screenshot. So I'm going to get now my patch tool, and I'm going to select close to her skin just to bring back some textures, some texture from the background. I'm going to move it over here. And then zoom out. I think that's good. And then now here over her head, an area with texture, and an area here with texture. That's good. So now I'm just gonna select all these and Command E to merge them. I don't like seeing mess. Okay, so next step, we are going to I'm gonna use some dodge and burning. So this layer here is gonna be my dodge, and I'm going to make it lighter about here, and I'm going to invert. And now I'm going to get my brush. I'm going to set it to white because white cancels the black over here, and the flow is going to be 2% and opacity 100. Just going to go, you know, in areas that I see it's dark. I'm just going to paint over like this. You can also create a black and white layer over all this because some people, it might help you to see better without any distractions of the colors and things like that. Now I'm going to create another layer and make it darker. That's going to be my burn layer. So I'll make things darker here. So now I'm contouring her nose a bit. And what I will do next, I'm going to run a frequency separation action I have, and I'll teach in a different video how to create that. But this action pretty much separates my image layers into the texture layer and into the color layer, which is blurry, and the texture layer, which is just like texture. And I'll paint in between, so like a sandwich, and I'll just bring some of the smooth the colors and the tones. So now make sure my brush is set to 20 opacity and flow 20. I really like these two, you know, set to 20% flow and 20 opacity, is just because I feel that's a good number to start with when painting, so it's not too much, if that makes any sense, I hope. And I just go painting the image like this. So I'm just applying some slight foundation on her skin, just making sure everything is smooth. Then here too. And now don't forget the hands, because they are also part of it. I go there and I try to make the hands. I try to make the knuckles a little lighter because they normally are darker than the overall skin. I'll zoom in close. Then I'm going to set my flow to 10%. And let's see if I set the flow to 100 and opacity to 100, what happens? Nope. Let's keep it to 20, 30. think I'm pretty happy with the way it is. I'm just gonna merge them all together, and I'm gonna merge these two so you can see a before and after here. And I'll merge them all so you can see a final before and after. And I'm gonna go back to her hands here. I'm gonna get my healing spot brush, and I'm just gonna go over this edge just to see if I can fix this line. Okay, happy with hands now. All right, now next step, I will go to, I'm gonna create another layer here, a curves, and I'm gonna make it slightly darker. And I'm going to get a brush set to 10 and flow 10%. And if you see here, there's this light spot here in her head. I'm just gonna try to fix that, just make it slightly darker, like that. Very gentle. Okay, I think that's okay. I'm gonna blend so you can see the difference here. Now I'm gonna get a curves and make it very light. And I'm gonna zoom in close to her eyes, and I'm gonna invert that layer with Command I. I'm gonna get this still on the soft round brush, and I'm gonna paint under her eyes just to bring some light. Make her eyes a little lighter. I think I overdone there, so it's okay. I can just undo with the black brush. I think that's pretty good. So now one of the secrets, I would say this way, but one thing that makes the image pop, it's when you place highlights in the right area. So I normally like creating a curve, almost like this shape here, like a balloon almost, and I invert it. I now get my brush and I set it to 2%, opacity 100 and flow 2, and I zoom in close, and then where I see highlights, I will just go over and brush slightly, very gentle. See the difference? I think it's a bit too much, but I will tone it down in a second. So I'm just bringing some highlights now to the close too. Now here on her face, I'm just going to tone it down a bit. think that's pretty beautiful. I really like it. So I'm happy with how it looks. Just gonna create a copy layer over so you can see what I've done with the highlights before and after. And then here's a final before and after. And this is, the image is done. So now what I would do, I would just run a filter. I can do some selective color, for example, and then I go on neutrals and I try to make it slightly yellow and maybe a little bit of red like this. And I could try some, let's do a black and white filter, and then I go to luminosity and I try to increase maybe the yellow a bit, darken the red, something like this. Just gonna group this so you can see a before and after. And also what you can do is you can create an empty layer, and then you just paint this layer with the, where is that tool? The paint bucket tool in black. And then you go to filter, where is it? Noise, add noise. And then I can add noise, let's say Gaussian and monochromatic. And I'll do maybe about, do 30, that number 30. And then I go here and let's do screen. See, it's very grainy, but you can tone it down maybe to 15, 14% to add some grain to the image if you want. So let me group here. You can see if you want to add the grain, you could do this. Yeah. So the image is done. It's finished. I hope you enjoyed watching me. You can see, let me put this one here. You can see a before and after, and I can zoom in close so you can see the details. You can maybe tone this down a bit more. Let's do 10. And I really like this. I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed watching me edit and you learned something. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends. If you have any requests, let me know. I would love to know what your doubts are. Like, if, for example, if you want to learn something on Photoshop or something I've done and you'd like to know, just let me know. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was useful, and I'll come up with a new video maybe tomorrow. All right, take care and stay safe. Bye now.